Well, former Bank of America CEO Ken Lewis, as well as former Bank of America CFO Joe Price, are both being sued for fraud by New York Attorney General Andrew Cuomo. Now the question is, where does that leave shareholders? Our next guest is a major one himself. He owns more than 2.5 million shares of Bank of America, and he's here to tell us why he's still optimistic about the outlook for the company. That's Buzzy Geduld. He's CEO of Cougar Trading. Buzzy, how are you today?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Margaret. How are you?
I'm doing well. We saw that $150 million SEC fine for Bank of America. Then we heard the charges being brought by New York's Attorney General Andrew Cuomo, accusing former CEO Ken Lewis of fraud. As a shareholder, do you feel defrauded?
I don't. I think Bank of America made a tremendous acquisition. I think that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I suspect that BofA was probably thinking about this for 10 years, and all of a sudden they could buy something really on the cheap because of what was taking place in the marketplace. So to me, the important thing isn't who knew what when, because it's not relevant. I think whether they paid $1 too much or $1 too little doesn't really matter. They bought the crown jewel of the American financial system, in my opinion. And what matters is what this merger or acquisition looks like 2, 3, 5, 10 years down the road. And the question I ask is, BofA better and stronger today because of the Merrill acquisition. And I said, I believe undoubtedly it's a stronger, better bank because of it.
Well, Andrew Cuomo, in these accusations of fraud, also disclosed to reporters. Bloomberg itself has been reporting that many of the board members actually thought they were heading into a conversation to buy Lehman when they ended up talking about buying Merrill, being surprised.
My suspicions are, during that weekend, that was literally World War III in the financial markets. So I suspect that perhaps Bank of America's first look was at Lehman, because I'm not sure anyone thought Merrill was on the block or Merrill was having those kind of problems. And from what I've read, and it's all public, once they looked at Lehman, they decided that wasn't a do, and next came Merrill. So I think Bank of America and the Bank of America shareholders were quite fortunate that this took place. One man's poison is another man's meat.
Yeah. Do you think that the Fed and the Treasury, I mean, you're talking about this in terms of economic war, in some sense, financial war, the Fed and the Treasury encouraging this marriage in some way, I mean, does that cause issue for you as a shareholder?
Not at all. I think that, what took place that weekend and what took place in the ensuing weeks and months is our system was saved. And we can look back now and criticize why didn't they do this or why didn't they cross this T or dot that I, and it's easy to do that in calmer times. But
so it doesn't, the nearly $4 million in bonuses that was paid out in what was Merrill's worst year, has been termed Merrill's worst year, it doesn't bother you?
It doesn't, because you've got to retain talent. If they don't pay what someone is deserving of, then guess what? Somebody else down the block is going to hire them. I think we have to be realistic. This is still a capitalistic society, and people should get rewarded for what they do. By the same token, those who did the wrong thing should have been fired, and it wouldn't bother me if some old CEOs, if Andrew Cuomo went after the old CEOs that cost the firm all of this money and get back some of the money.
You're referring to some of those who might have actually been looking at this acquisition a while ago, the Stan O'Neill, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
All right, Buzzy, we got to leave it there. Quickly, though, are you adding to your position right now?
I did add on the secondary that came a few weeks ago.
All right. Thank you so much, Buzzy, for joining us by phone there. Buzzy Geduld, CEO of Cougar Trading.